Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends, and welcome back to the Cozy Club. We are coming up on year 2 of Disney Sorcerer's Arena being released, and we have seen multiple raids, a gargantuan, I like that word, amount of characters, Summoner Showdown, Club Expedition, quality of life updates, and overall plenty of content to keep you and your club busy. However, as year 2 rolls on by, me and you both know there's a whole lot more content that DSA can offer. Now, in my opinion, there is one key addition that they can bring that's going to create a massive difference in the way that we experience Disney Sorcerer's Arena. One feature, one small addition. Let's talk about it. Many of y'all feel like DSA is better together, and I would absolutely agree. In fact, the community is by far the best part about this game, and you can tell that the developers echoed this with their release content that they've had over the last couple of years. If we take a look between two different raids, the Siege on Olympus and the Forbidden Depths, Club Expeditions, and then like Tower Milestones with your club, it's definitely club and community focused for the last big amount of content that we've received. However, I believe it's time for a new era. The era of a solo player and more individualized experience. Now listen, I love you guys, I love my club, but sometimes I want to hop in and utilize my wide variety of characters, my own roster, and strategically use them to get rewards that doesn't feel like I'm just contributing about 2% to the overall goal, whether it's the expedition or the raid. Now, with all of this being said, that's going to bring me to my first of 2 points that I think is going to drastically change the way that we play Disney Sorcerer's Arena. One is going to be something you guys are familiar with and something brand new. Starting with the one you're familiar with, let's talk about the Towers of Endurance. Currently, the Towers of Endurance is an early game mode that tests, early players' rosters variety to see if they have different factions like Kingdom, Wild, and to climb a difficult milestone going from one challenge to the next. Once you complete one, you're able to auto-complete it and move on to the next, and you've got a great, juicy reward with a new unlockable spell, and it gives you a lot of motivation as a new or early level player to grind through this content. Now, if we're being honest, I think they absolutely nailed it with this early playable game mode because as you guys know, right, like it's hard to join a club when you just start going. Those of you guys that are new to the game, not a lot of clubs want to bring on Timmy's or Sally's with a few Aladdin characters. It's just the way that it is. So you have a solo playable content to build up your roster and go up against a pretty difficult challenge. Now, in 2022 and in year 2 of DSA, I want to see the return of these towers, but in a daily format, picking up where they left off with the early towers and creating Towers of Endurance for the mid-game and even up to the way late-game, super challenging solo playable towers. It's a game mode truly about strategy and overcoming difficulty tailored to your roster so that you can look at who you need specifically to take up to go ahead and conquer the milestones. Overall, I think it would be a banger because this is a game mode that is more specific and challenging to your roster. You can look at the synergy that you need and the difficulty rises, but your experience is going to be different than mine, and there's many ways to get the job done. Listen, if they bring this to a daily format with no auto completions, kind of like the character towers that we have now, a plethora of rewards, it's going to have insane replayability, and with mid-game and challenging in-game content, I don't see how this is not a banger between all levels and a hyped game mode that could be easy to implement. Like, this would use your entire roster, and like taking it a step further, you could get like a tower key per day and use it on a specific tower of your choice, right? You can't auto-complete these, and maybe they're reward specific as well. Maybe you need more ability ruins, mystery character shards, or just a gold tower that you climb up an ever-changing, more difficult tower, and it's going to earn through your playtime, and you can hop in at any time and just play the game with the roster that you've worked hard for, or in a lot of cases paid for. Listen, again, the core concept here is solo play. Club Expeditions, the raids, they're fun and banger game modes, but that all has to do with my teammates and with my club. I want to see something that I can dive my own teeth into and just go right into the nostalgia of Disney by myself and really utilize my entire roster. I wouldn't play this game any less. I would still have to, unlock different characters and milestones, for other rewards like raids and club expeditions, still helping my club out, but there's no time format to other people's time. It's more on a 24-hour schedule, and overall, it's more custom tailored to myself rather than other people. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, right, there's different difficulties. So depending where you're at in the game, there's something to do for everybody with the rewards that should most likely match this. Now, I'm ready for the comments. I'm going to say, Cozy, this is never going to come, but in reality, it's not even that much to ask for. Like, we already have the core concept, and they could just expand on this ever more. So again, like I teased before, two different things to talk about. That's the PvE side of things. But what about the PvP side of things? Now, I know what you're saying. Summoner Showdown is somewhat of a solo playable experience. However, that's definitely not utilizing your own roster, and it's more specific characters of their choosing. The game altogether, and all things considered, is in a pretty good spot. But now that we've talked about PvE, let's look at a brand new PvP mode that I've talked about and I think will change the game entirely. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the Summoner's Cup. Now, whether we get this or not, I hope that we get a game mode that is designed like this, and I have plenty of visual examples to help you guys understand the core concept here. Utilizing your summoner score that we all know that's accustomed to your roster, you're going to be heading into a 1v1 tournament against someone with the same relative roster strength. You'll be playing both defense and offense with your club, and your goal is going to be a lot like Summoner Showdown, to score as many points as possible within a 24-hour period. Now, let's go ahead and take you guys into a visual example that I've created to show you guys what I'm talking about here. Now, player 1 and player 2 are going to both be in a preparation phase. You're going to be able to set anywhere from 2, 4, even 6 defensive teams depending on that summoner score, and you'll place different specific defensive teams to hold back maybe a tower or a base, or try to keep your opponent from scoring as many points as possible. You could have a complete mosh podge of different characters, or more defense-oriented teams like Oceanics, the Hercules crew, maybe the Ducks that never get used, and the Frozen team that can hold your fort down and keep that enemy from getting those points. Now, player 2 is going to do the same thing, but they're going to be having different things for their roster. And now that it's time to battle, you're going to be bringing out the rest of that roster that you did not place on defense to take out as many enemies and as many defensive teams, scoring as much points as you can along the way. You see, easily in my opinion, the best thing that DSA has going for it is the overall synergy and ability kits that all of these characters have. And this is a great way to learn even more about the different characters and different teams. Again, some of them are a lot better on defense, whereas more fast, kind of punch you in your mouth teams like Kingdom, Princess, even like the Incredibles, or heck, like Aladdin and a Mosh Posh team, is more meant for the offense side of things. Overall, this would make you start to learn what teams are good against what other teams, and bring even more depth to the awesome strategy that DSA already has as a blanket value. Now, lastly, after that 24-hour period, whoever has the most points and killed the most defenses or the most units is going to win and moves on within the tournament. However, win or lose, you'll be moving on no matter what. Now, Cozy Club, this accomplishes a few different things, right? Number one, it brings an incredible solo experience, again, tailored to your custom roster. Number two, it easily fixes the legendary super problem that we all face within PvP, where you're not going to be seeing, a team full of legendaries, because once that team is done, you're going to get through the rest of those defenses. Number three is it's going to utilize that skill and all that strategy that you've come to know while playing this game. And then lastly, every single week is going to be different. Your roster is going to be different than the person that you're playing. And then maybe you're going to want to work on, let's say, Jack to finish off that powerful offensive powerhouse of a team that you have in the Incredibles. Now, the common area between both of these game modes, the towers and PvP, is that they're both being able to be accomplished at different times during the day. They already have other game modes that require when you log in, so you can do this during that time, or maybe when you're winding down after work. And guys, there's one thing that they do well, is they get pretty good rewards within the game modes, and this would also be the same way. The more you win, the better rewards you get, but even if you lose, you can still win some and get some great rewards along the way. Which brings us to the end of the video, guys. Bottom line is, I'm loving the refreshing club content. Club Expedition has a lot that they can add, and it'll be a lot of fun with friends. but I want to be able to log in and have a much better solo playing experience. And again, something that's tailored to my specific choices within the game. Both of these aren't crazy to offer. We know we're most likely getting a PvP game mode next. And guys, I hope that we get something like this. However, you guys are the community. Maybe you love the idea. Maybe you absolutely hate it and you're like, shut up, Cozy. I'll take more character releases. Let me hear y'all's thoughts in the comments below. And if you guys would like to see more of a solo playing experience to add on to the big year 1 and 2 of club playing experiences that we've already had. Now I'm finally saving it for the end of the video, but you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. If you guys haven't already, over 50% of you guys have not subscribed. We're almost at 15,000 subs, and until next time, guys, stay cozy.